The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, Sofa Squad. How is everybody doing? What's going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Miss Emily. I hope you're feeling okay. Don't overdo yourself. I know it's crazy weather out there. Cat Mom Kristen, legit, first every time with that one. Don't even have to say it. Dropping it like it's hot. I mean, my goodness, just the first one in there. I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. Hello, Ginger. Y'all, Ginger is preparing some massive, I'm talking buckle yourself up, merch and redoing the merch store. It's crazy good, y'all. Y'all gonna be like, he's a credentialed. Okay, pure credentialed is what she's doing. Ginger's credentialing. Right, Ginger's been credentialing. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing lovely. So what we're going to do tonight is this. We're going to go over a few case updates. Shayna has put together another one of her wonderful, amazing montages, presentations, whatever, of some things that we've like missed with cases that we follow behind the scenes. Then I want to ask y'all about an idea, talk to you about, what do you call it? A couple of other trials, and then talk about Corey Richins for tomorrow. So there's that. So for people who are just joining or on the replay who are like, I want the tea real quick. Okay, tomorrow, 10:30 a.m., we will be streaming Corey Richins' closing arguments. Now, here is the tricky thing. We are getting ready to have some insane weather coming here, like starting, honestly, any minute probably, and tomorrow and whatnot. So there is a high probability I will lose power. We will not be able to stream, which means they will do the like pretend that the power goes out at 10:30. They will do closing arguments within 30 minutes and get a conviction by 11:30, and then do all that, and the power will come back on at 1. Right. So, but just know that there's like a lot of crazy weather coming this way. So we're going to try and stream it, but we're going to see what happens. And if it doesn't, obviously there's other channels to catch it there, and then we'll catch up when the weather is there. And if you are in the way of the weather, just be careful, be safe. Even if it's weather that is, you know, whatever, just be careful out there. Take care of yourself first. So there is that. Now, what I want to do first is look at the little updates that Shayna has put together for us. Shooba-da-doop, doop, doop, doop. So please hold. Let me just share the screen. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Shooba-doo-doo, shooba-doo-doo. I said, hey, welcome to the sofa. I hope y'all had a good Sunday. It's been a busy day. I'm talking a busy day, y'all, but it's been a good day. You can tell, look how tired I look. I've just been going all day long. Going and eating, going and eating, going and eating. Okay, where's my theme here? Collabed with Kathy from Gossip Rumor and Uendo today for the main channel, so that's going to be fun. It was a great conversation about Corey Richins. It's always fun hanging out with Kathy. She's so fun. Selling is service. Service is selling. That's right. Come on now. Selling is service. Hey. Okay. Sofa Squad Week in Review. Shoo-a-doo-doo. Okay, so first of all, here's the thing. Prank gone wrong case. There's been updates in that. Lake and Snelling ain't looking good for her. Avante Devin. I don't know how many of y'all know about this case, but we're going to talk about it. And then Ruth Miller. And Courtney Clenny, Sofa Squad call to action. We're doing all that. We'll talk about Courtney Clenny as well. So let's just jump right in. So that headline about the kids that did the prank with a teacher. Now, there's been an update since this, obviously, right here. But if you're unfamiliar with it, then you could just see the timeline here. So the Georgia teacher died after this prank gone wrong, right? Now, teens were arrested. It was a toilet paper prank gone wrong. Okay. And hey, Sheena, how's it going? And it was like a known thing that this is what happens. The teacher knew it was going to take place. Okay, so what happens is the kids come, they do their stuff. The teacher's running out there to like greet them. He had been hiding in the yard, that type of thing. He trips and falls, and one of the kids runs over him. So we're talking, it was like rainy or whatever. So we're talking about a complete freak accident. Well, you see, March 10th, the family is basically like, hey, drop the charges, drop the charges, drop the charges. Okay, well, then March 11th rolls around and they're like, nope, we're charging. Okay. And, and I felt torn about it. We'll talk about it in a second. Well, then by a couple of days later, whatever, the prosecutors eventually dropped the charges. Okay. And so, and that's the deal, and that's where it stands right now. It's not just like the prosecutors or whatever. I mean, his own family is like, drop the charge. It gives me goosebumps. Drop the charges. He would not have wanted these kids' lives to be ruined in this way. Essentially, they're already going to be completely messed up. As you can imagine, we'll talk about that in a second, so drop the charges. This is how it should be and whatnot. Okay. And that's eventually what the prosecutors did. Now, here's this. Okay. And these are the different scenarios I'll lay out here because I've done a lot of like unnecessary thinking about this, right? Okay. So pretend this. Number one, I'm always like, what is the victim's family saying? And there's many different ways you could go with this. Pretend this was a component. Okay. Pretend he didn't know that that's what was going to happen. He knew that they were coming to the house. This was like a tradition that took place, right? So it was a known thing. It's like, I'm going to get him, that kind of a thing, right? So pretend he didn't know that that was going to happen. And the kids come up and he's running out there. What's going on? And he tripped and fell. Completely different story, right? A completely different story. Pretend, let's see, what was the other things I came up with? And I was trying to decide how I'd feel about it. What I think another one was pretend that it wasn't a tradition, but he knew they were coming. I forget how I did it in my mind that I was like, Basically for me, I was like, this completely sucks. Yeah, like Stephanie said, he wasn't chasing them and he knew he was coming. Yeah, he slipped and fell. And you can hear the kid when he's like, oh my God. I mean, you hear the car run over him. It's horrible, right? I just feel like because he knew it, the family knew it, it was the whole thing. It was just what they did. And he slipped and fell. I just feel like there's accidents, right? There was no malice. There was no intention. They weren't trying to be a certain way with him. Everybody was known about it. Now, I'll say this. Because I also feel like this is going to haunt them for the rest of their life. Right? I mean, can you imagine living with that as one of the kids? Like, how do you recover from that? Like, you ran over him, right? So I felt like that's going to be punishment enough. Here's another thing. What if the wife, his family members were like, no, punish them. They should pay. Even though they knew it was going on, if the family felt different, how that would change the tune. You see what I'm saying? I feel like because his wife was so adamant, like, oh my God, this was just a freak accident. Yeah, Brittany says I would literally never recover from that. Me neither. I can't imagine having that on my shoulders. right? I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again, and I'm not trying to equate this is on the same level, okay? I'm just trying to, you'll see where I'm wrapping this up to. Okay, so when I was young, I've hit a couple of deer, right? Where I grew up, like deer was a common thing. I'm very like at nighttime, drive slow because deer, I mean, if you know, right? If you live out in the country, you know how deer are. Right. It baffles me when I see people flying at crazy speeds at nighttime, like out in deer country, because I'm like, oh my gosh. That being said, I can still tell you to this day, 20 some years later, what it sounds like to hit a deer, what it feels like on the car. Like I can hear it in my mind. I can't fathom being able to say that about another human being, right? That would be horrifying to me. So I'm like, God, if I can remember those sounds and feels and textures from a deer 30, what am I? Yeah, 30 years later, there's no way. There is no way. Oh, I know a deer attacked me in the town. Oh my God. I need to hear this story, Stephanie. Um, yeah, real happy says they said, watch for deer. I've been hit by 2 deer. They both turned around to my car. Okay, I got 2 story on that real quick. A little tell, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so first of all, I have this thing about deer chasing cars down. I don't know why, right? So one of the times was my dad was going to work, and when he came home, like the side of his car. Now this is just some old, beat up car, or whatever my dad drove, so it wasn't like it was some fancy car or something. But he had like this huge dent on it. He was like, I was just going, right? And he's like, all of a sudden, this deer just head-butted the side of the car. He's like, it knocked me off the road. He's like, I went off the road. I didn't wreck, but whatever. And he was like, the deer just sat there for a minute, then it kind of shook itself off and kept going. I was like, it lived? I was like, this is crazy, right? I know I got the 2 deer coming up behind me. I mean, it messed his car up, okay? It was crazy. Okay, secondly, well, I was in another car that got hit. I'm sorry, that we hit a deer, but I wasn't driving. It was a friend, okay? Then another time, I don't know where we were, but it was my aunt, my cousin, and we were driving across country. Like the ultimate place was we were going to end up in Vegas, but we were going, and literally my aunt was going, and she made like this kind of noise, like a or something like that. And she was like, look out the window or whatever. Yeah, there was a deer. It was literally like a TV show or movie that you see. There's a deer running next to the car. Okay. And I'm talking like you're like, oh, hey. And you have that freak out moment because if it did one little thing wrong, it was like, oh my gosh. And it then just kind of, as fast as it happened, it veered off. But it was so funny that moment of the deer being like, oh, hello. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God type thing. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Let's see. I grew up in Pennsylvania. The deer here have a rite of passage where they like to leave in front of a car last minute in order to be accepted by the pack. Legit. It's bizarre. But like, yeah, if you hit a deer or an animal, you know the sound of it. The lady who, when I hit the deer that like didn't total my car but messed it up, a lady picked me up. And again, this is, I mean, I was a teenager, right? This is a long time ago. Pouring down rain. So nice. She immediately pulled over, picked me up. She's like, I'll take you to the payphone. And she was basically telling me, she was like, yeah, I ran over an alligator, whatever is in Florida, I guess alligators. She was like, I ran over an alligator in Florida on the interstate. She's like, it totaled my car. She's like, it was horrible. And I'm like, you ran over an alligator? I'm like, that must be like the worst speed bump ever. Imagine hitting something like that going fast. It would literally, I mean, it destroyed her car. But it was so random to get picked up by somebody who's like, yeah. Back in 82, I ran over an alligator. She wasn't like that. She was super nice. But anyways, so yeah, just thinking about like having that memory and tying it back over here. I just can only imagine that those boys are going to have that repeat in their minds over and over and over and over. And, they were basically like the one, especially who was driving, was just like, he's going to live and honor his teacher and live in like kind of like the way that his teacher would want and all this type of stuff. It was, very emotional and obviously a huge loss for the school, for the community, and obviously his family, right? Hey, Montana. Hey, Crystal. So there's that. Okay, now let's move on. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this one, but Lake and Snelling, this was that not teenager, I'm sorry. This was the college girl who another, had her baby, says the baby, was born not alive, but it's not looking that way. Her friends discovered the remains. She had like left and pretended to go to class at McDonald's and something like that or whatever. Okay, so that's what these are about. So Fayette County grand jury indicts her. Charges include first-degree manslaughter, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. Kentucky medical examiner ruled the baby was born alive and died from asphyxia by undetermined means, possibly facing 10 to 20 years in prison if convicted. So that's where this is out. That's where this is at now. There's several of these cases that, well, obviously that happen, but also go. One of the most popular that's basically just come to a whole grinding halt. And now I'm going to forget her name now that I'm talking about it. It's the one out in New Mexico. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? The cheerleader who basically, it sounds like she might actually get away with it because they're throwing some of the evidence out from the hospital. What is her name? Alexia? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot it. But somebody will remember in the chat. That's been going on for years, right? Alexandra, is that it? Alexis Treviso, thank you. That one's good, Sandy. Yeah, Alexi, or however you say it, Alexi Treviso. That's the other major one going around. This one now is just almost, it's not really a repeat of it, but very similar. So, and again, imagine her roommates, what they discovered. They heard these noises, something didn't sit right. They went and looked. It's wild. So again, we'll have to see, what does the evidence show? I think this one might be a little bit more, I don't want to say like, clean cut, like bam, bam, we can get a conviction out of it. But if you compare it to Alexis, or Alexi, however you say her name, Treviso, we'll just say, hers is slipping through the cracks because of the evidence and what took place. It's very obvious to me, at least, what happened, right? And it's going to be sad if she's able to get away with it because of that, slipping through the cracks. So to see what happens here, I mean, there's no words for it. There's just no words for it. Alexi Trevino, thank you, Teddy. I'm just catching up on your things here. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Then Ruth Miller, so this took place, of course. She was sentenced to a secure mental hospital. She'll remain under the court's jurisdiction. Her release or transfer to a less restrictive environment would require future court hearings and medical evaluations to prove she is no longer a danger to herself or others. Temporary placement, as of last update, she was being held in county jail while waiting for an available bed at a state-run psychiatric hospital. So again, this was the lady who threw her baby in the lake and drowned the baby, then drove for other kids with the golf cart. They were grown up. They were able to get away or whatever. Her husband, he somehow drowned himself in the pond or lake or whatever. I'm not sure how, but he took himself too. And this was a lady who, there was the videotape of it, the body cam footage. It was very disturbing. She was talking about him being swallowed by a fish and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just call me Kim. Says she had a bench trial. Very unique kind of trial, very unique kind of situation. And it was like, pardon me, it was wild, right? Because to me, what we saw play out was, you kind of knew what was going to happen because of the uniqueness of it. And it sounded like everybody was on board and they just kind of went through with this and went through the motions. And I'm not saying they didn't pay attention to it, but I think after they looked at all the evidence and they looked at all the evaluations that came back, both the defense and the state, and obviously the judge, they were like, yeah, there's a lot going on here. Right. So that's what took place. So to me, what will be interesting with this one, and again, you already know if you follow me, I always go back to Andrea Yates with this, right? And what will be interesting to see is how this unfolds along the way and what takes place. Hey, Jessa, how's it going? What takes place years down the road when she is, quote, rehabilitated? Will she go to a lesser facility? Will she be let out? Would she even want to do any of that? Right? That's a bigger question. So I'll be curious to see what takes place with that along the way. Okay. Now, Carly, that emoji is the staircase. That's for whenever I always circle every single case back to Michael Peterson's case, the staircase. We put that in there. Because I can't ever talk about anything without going back to that case. Hold on one second while I take a drink. Okay. So this one right here, y'all. Avante Devon. Okay, this is local. Shayna and I went to one of the hearings. She wasn't there. We didn't get to see her. But we went to the Fayetteville courtroom and we actually rode by the house, a couple of them, and it was very interesting. So this case comes out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. So arrested June 2024. She was finally indicted and charged. Okay, so this is going on years, right? 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of concealment of death, 1 count of kidnapping related to London Devon's death, 2 counts of felony child abuse related to Blake Devon's death. Now, this is very layered and whatnot because this is, you're dealing with foster care, things of this nature. There was other people who came out who said that they had to assist in doing some of these situations. It's very grim. It's very honestly Texas Chainsaw Massacre sounding to me, to be quite honest. The case itself is just grisly is the best way to put it. Okay. And it has gone on and on and on and on. Okay. Now, like I said, this is in Fayetteville. This might be one that I actually go to once it kicks off. They've had little hearings along the way. And when Shayna and I went to the one hearing, pardon me, again, it was like we sat there. She didn't come out. Her lawyers basically were just like, beep, 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 beep. It was a status quo. It was a status hearing. And it just flew by really quickly. There's been local reporters who have followed it like from the get-go, like you see in these cases. And I mean, they're on it, right? When this popped off and really became a thing in the headlines, I started covering it. And then again, it just kind of went away. And I'm not talking about like, oh, it's just whatever. But I mean, there was interviews with, the one person who was like, oh, she made me help do this and crazy stuff, right? And she looked so unwell. This woman here, Avante, so unwell. So we're going to follow this one. And as it works its way through, now that the indictment's there and this and that, one of the unique things with this case is this is one of those where it's like, well, wait a minute. Has anybody seen that kid recently? Where did they go? Well, I saw him a few months ago. Well, what about this kid? I haven't seen that one either. You see what I'm saying? Like where it was like this, who saw, what this case reminds me of? Classic and Sincere. Okay. Fayetteville, North Carolina version, right? That type vibe of like, well, now that you mention it, no one's seen those kids in 6 months, and then it just had the salacious, like she did this and chopped them up, did crazy stuff, y'all. Okay. So what we're going to do is follow this. And like I said, now that it's coming up and like, okay, we got an indictment, we got charges, we're going to have like status hearing again. Remember, this has been going on years at this point. She's been locked up since 2024. So, which is normal for these kind of cases. And especially this because of the gruesome nature of it. And because a lot of it, by the time it was found out, it was like these kids, wait, hold on. They had been gone for so long. It's like, where are the remains? You see what I'm saying? It's that type level. So we'll follow it. We'll see. We might go and follow it in person and whatnot. We'll see. Oh gosh, scared me to death. That's the dogs. Scared me to death. Those boys have just been going at it. Okay. Kimberly Sullivan. This is the woman who kept her adopted son or son. Was it her adopted son? I can't remember. Regardless, captive prisoner in the house. He finally had to set the house on fire to get, people to come to the house or whatever. She is a stepson. Okay. Thank you, Jessa. So new and upgraded charges. Okay. And this is exactly 1 year after her initial arrest, the state added several severe charges against Sullivan. 2 counts of first-degree kidnapping. These are upgrades from previous lesser kidnapping charges. Additional first-degree assault. The state added another count to the existing assault charges. Cruelty and unlawful restraints. Additional counts of cruelty to persons and unlawful restraint were also filed. Total scope. These new charges are on top of the original counts of reckless endangerment and assault. The next pretrial hearing is scheduled for April 30th. The defense has indicated they are not interested in a plea deal and intend to take the case to trial. Okay. Hold on. Let me go over here and then back over here. There you are. Okay. She's dug her heels in, y'all. And again, this is one where I'm like, girl, like, no. So you already know if this goes to trial, we're following this one. And it looks like it was, because she's not going to take a plea deal. It's kind of like another Sarah Boom. Thank you, Peachy. Okay, y'all, hold on one second because the dogs are squeaking. I need to go get them and bring them up here. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey. Okay, so the dogs are back up here now. Okay, so we'll follow that one, obviously, okay? Now, a couple of questions. So let's do a little midstream update for those who have joined and are curious about the pragmatic form of streaming Corey. So tomorrow, Monday, 10:30 a.m., we will be streaming the Corey Richins trial. Tomorrow is closing arguments. Now, I imagine that this could be a couple of days, okay? Here's the tricky thing. We are having severe storms move in here in North Carolina where I'm at, starting basically now through tomorrow. So there's a high probability that we could be losing power and all that kind of stuff. So clearly, if that happens, then I'm not going to be streaming it. So you'll have to find out on another channel and we'll catch up and see what happens. So just keep that in mind. But as far as right now goes, 10:30 a.m. podcast channel, we're going to be going live, streaming it, seeing what happens. Okay. Before we talk about that and some theories and all that kind of stuff, here's my next question and experiment. So Courtney Clenny, that's the OnlyFans model who stands accused of killing her boyfriend with a knife and all the kind of stuff, right? It's going on for years. Okay. Her trial starts at the end of April. Now, allegedly, her judge is like, it don't matter. I don't care. We are going to trial. This is done with. Here we go. So I am assuming that it will begin. However, I believe it when opening statements are taking place, right? So that being said, we're basically going into the 3rd week of March. I imagine that the rest of this week will be Corey Richins wrapping that up, closing, verdict, yada, yada, yada. Then we will have like a week or so, and then we'll have a couple of, Bobo, no. Then we'll have a few weeks before Courtney Clenny starts, because Courtney's going to be the next major trial. What I wanted to do, because there's been a couple of cases that have popped off that a lot of people have reached out over and talked about, and I wanted to see if anyone is interested in this, and if so, if there was a case that we did this with. Now, and basically, well, let me say a couple of things. 10,000 thoughts are going through my mind. So what it would be is rewatching a trial that has taken place while this has gone on in between the next major one. Now, my thought processes are this. What we would do is there's a couple of choices of things that I see that I think are interesting sounding to me, but that also lots of people have reached out over. So whichever one is picked, if we do pick this, What it would be is almost like this, and I'm making this up at this point, but we would be like, okay, Monday from 11 a.m. to 2, we're going to stream blank blank trial. We'll start at day 1, opening statements. We're going to do it at 1.25 or 1.5 speed, depending on how they sound and whatnot to get through it. Because remember, because we're doing a rewatch, we can fast forward through, the dead parts and like the, where there's just the courtroom symbol and that kind of stuff. Okay. So what I'm getting at is it wouldn't be like streaming it for 8 hours a day. Right. And we can do that to kind of keep that momentum going and whatnot of just live streaming and talking and hanging out and all that. So there's that option. If that's something that people are like, hey, yeah, let's try that. There's 2 options to go with. And I'm going to look at the screen and tell you. Please hold. Okay. There is one trial that is currently going on that Kathy told me about today, and I've heard from a couple of you about. And that is the trial of the fatal friendship murder trial. And that is Megan Sundwall. Is anybody familiar with this trial? Have you watched it? Have you watched it? Yes, we will absolutely follow the Pam Hupp trial 100%. So the Sudwall trial sounds so interesting to me, and it's currently going on. It will probably coincide with wrapping up at the end of with Corey's, right? So there's that. So what she told me about today, because I was asking her the same question. I was like, I'm thinking about doing this and following something in between and blah, 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 but I don't want to, I want to take a break from just streaming all day long, but also use it as a way to catch up. And she was like, you have got to check this trial. Like it has all the things to it. It is insane. And she's been binging it, right? And catching up with it. And she's like, it is crazy. So I was like, you know what? This would be a really interesting one to do. Oh, Dr. Barry did a thing on it. So something like that. So imagine you started off and literally you just fast forward through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can catch up with it. And then just make it like hey, we're going to stream this. And if it's interesting, great. Because this is how I am. If we were to rewatch a trial and it was kind of boring, I would just lose interest in it. Be like, well, never mind. We'll stream Courtney. Now, that being said, what we'll also be doing is switching back to other things. Like we're going to do our palate cleanser for, watching some interrogations that we, Sarah Boone, Anthony Todd on the stand, interrogation, some of these things that we kind of do as palate cleansers. And then also other things that have popped off that are more like one-off live chats in the evening type situation. So yeah, Justice says everyone is a little bit nuts. Yeah, a Google mom said Dr. Barry summed it up so far, said we needed to watch it. It literally, that's what I'm hearing, where people are like, this is crazy. And I think it's going to be short enough to do as an in-between so we can take a little break, do that one, and then get ready for Courtney Clenny. You see what I'm saying? So that's probably what we'll do. The other one was, wait, let me see. Colin Gray. But that's like a 10-day trial. And from what I understand, most people that reached out to me about the Colin Gray trial were asking me to look, thanks, Grizzly. They were asking me to look at his time on the stand. Like that was their most interesting thing. But this trial, the fatal friendship, this, from what people are telling me, they're like the whole thing, like from start to finish, is like, what are we watching? And where do these people come from? Right. So I'm just like, oh my God, I want to see it. Hold on 1 second. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Well, I watched that one. It was a good trial. Yeah, fatal friendship. That's right up our alley. Yeah, I just think that, and pretend that this is going on, but no trials were interesting. Then okay, we're just going to do regular live chats. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there wasn't an interesting one that popped off, then But so many people, like, it's just, I've heard so much about this. My cousin had a roommate back in college who was convicted for putting Visine in a girl's Coke. Wait, remind me again, what happens if you put Visine in somebody's Coke? Doesn't that kill you if you do too much of it? Wasn't there a trial about this? It kills. That's so scary. Diarrhea. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. A Blue asks, why has it taken so long for clinical trial to begin? They've been able to successfully put this off and put this off and put this off and put this off. And now here's another thing too. When we get ready to go into Courtney Clenny, so like pretend like it starts popping off, like, yep, this is the thing that's really happening. We're gonna start rewatching here on this channel, and I'll do things for the main channel too. A lot of the evidence that was put out there, because remember that case there. It was at first, of course, like a self-defense, this, that, and the other. Even the neighbor was like, I've seen up in their window, and he was like beating on her and all this stuff. Well, then luckily the family's like getting all this video released, and every single video that came out was her like beating the what out of this dude and going off on him. And it was like he was like defending himself and getting her off of him. And I'm like, oh, wait, there's more to this story, right? I mean, we could kind of tell from her police interview, but I'm just saying. So that being said, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so now let's talk about not Courtney. I almost said Courtney Richins. Corey Richins. I had the best conversation with Kathy about it this morning. Oh my God, so good. And Kathy is gonna come on again, I think Wednesday night, and do a live chat on this channel. So it'll be great. Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, 100%, I think that the defense, they knew they weren't going to bring anybody up there. They knew that. They had to, right? It was just a tactic. I think they knew it's going to look worse if we put people up here. They probably had people that changed their mind. They were like, I don't want to testify for her. Yeah, we'll definitely watch the Pam Hupp trial for sure. I think if they had any character witnesses, they could have been like, absolutely not. After what I heard, you want me to get up there? No, please, right? Okay, so Minty Fret asked, do y'all think Nestor will have some sort of motion, etc., before closing arguments? I bet yes. And what is it? Y'all, what is it? Something, impeach, indict. Indulge, impeach, indict. Okay. That's with 3 eyes. You already know we're starting off Monday morning, 10:30 a.m. with indulge, impeach, indict, period, right? That's what's going to happen, okay? I think she'll have motions. I think she'll try to impeach. She'll impeach the judge if she has to. Hey, Hairball, how's it going? Pardon me. So I think definitely they're going to for sure have that up there. Hold on, wait. Ginger says originally said impeach, indict, ignite. Just burn the whole courtroom. Just burn it all down, right? So wait, hold on. Now we're definitely going to watch Rex Heuermann trial. Absolutely. If some of these mega trials like that get to actually where they're supposed to be this year, please, we're all over that one. Oh, thank you, Betty Boot, for being a member for 1 month. That's an honor. And yes, thank you. You know what? We got mod love up in here. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. Down with the don't. Boom, 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 boom. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to drag it out, meaning the closing arguments. They're going to get in there and they still have to work some stuff out, this, that, and the other. I think that there's going to be lots of objections. I think it's going to go slow. I think it's probably going to take Monday and Tuesday. I hope I'm wrong. Okay. I hope I'm wrong. Now, I said this, what was it, last night or whatever on the main channel live stream? I'll say it again here. What I am wanting to see, I'll say what I want to see from the state and the defense. From the state, what I'm wanting to see as a pretend jury member, I want them to get up there and I want them to put this entire convoluted Corey Richins story into a Happy Meal format and hand it to me with my fries. Don't ask me to pull up. Don't tell me that the McFlurry machine's down. Okay. I want a simple burger. Hey, Dread. I want fries, maybe some little apple slices, and a medium Coke, 0. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Ain't pulling up for it. None of that. And I then want them to say, these are the charges. This is what is required to prove that charge and give me a guilty verdict. I proved it to you this way, A, B, C for each one. Done. Don't get fancy. Don't overindulge. Don't impeach. Don't ignite. Don't indict. Okay, all those things. What I want to see from the defense, not that I want to see it, but if I were the defense, I would get up there and my entire closing argument would hinge on, I wouldn't be up there victim blaming Eric about a drug problem, right? I would be up there talking about, did anybody else see the video of Corey putting the drugs in whatever they claim? Because they still haven't said what it was in there. Does anybody else? Because I missed that one. Oh, okay. Nobody saw that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Right. That's what I thought. I would literally be up there and just riding that home. I'd be like, is she a crappy person? Cha. Can she make good business decisions? No. Does that make her a murderer? No. Nobody can prove where that came from. We don't know if this was that way. That's all I would do. I would not get up there and make it some drawn out 4-hour thing, but that's probably what they're going to do, right? That's what they're going to do. They're going to be condescending. They're going to be arrogant. They're going to get up there. They are going to try and continue to create chaos and confusion, and they will be their own worst enemy. The same way that Corey was her own worst enemy, I'll say this 100 times over, the most compelling evidence in this trial, for me in this case, came from Corey herself. It wasn't Carmen getting up on that stand. Now, you could also argue, well, Corey's communications with Carmen came from her, and that's damning. But the 911 phone call, the body cam footage, the text messages with the boyfriend, the text messages with her husband on Valentine's Day, the phone call to the medical examiner, all these things, pardon me, are what for me are like, oh, fire old Sparky up. I'm good. Anybody want to pull the lever? You know what I'm saying? So the other stuff absolutely is helpful, but I think she's going to be toast in that way. So again, I just want, for both sides, they don't need to muddy it up. Okay. They don't need to get up there and make it this complicated thing. The state does need to say, we proved it to you this way, and this is how we're done. But like with the defense, if they get up there and go on and on and on and on, they've already lost this jury numerous times. Insulting Carmen, making her cry, doing this, doing that. It's just like, come on. Hold on one second. I'm going to mute you while I take a sip. Okay, hold on. Mama Mott says, I wish the judge would have told them a time limit, though. Yeah. 911 call, Ashley says, is pretty indicting. Yeah. Wendy says the same thing about 911. Carly says, if not guilty, I'm going to be upset. I get that. Yeah, the walk the dog message, that too. Ginger says, I'll bring a bucket of gummies to the sofa on Monday in case we might need it. Right? Hold on, where are the gummies? Hold on. I'm passing gummies out in the comment section. I'm passing it here. There's some gummies. Look at this itchy thing in my arm. Yeah, can we please not have a time limit because we're ahead of time? I know, right? I'm just like, oh my gosh. There ain't no way. One thing that Kathy and I were talking about today, and I think Gigi did a video from Pretty Lies and Alibis of driving by the Midway Mansion. And Kathy and I were talking about like all the problems that had. When they showed pictures of it, I was like, ugh. This thing was like run down. Like there is so much work that had to be done on that Midway Mansion that she thought she was going to like flip and make tons of money off of or whatever. And I was just like, oh, this was doomed from the get-go. His family, when they started finding out about the stuff, like her stealing the money from it, doing this and these bad business deals, and especially once the evidence came out and they started seeing this, they had to be like, Eric either was like, how did we arrive here? What happened? What is going on? Like, no. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like it was a nightmare. And again, I just feel like if she had truly gotten away with this, like, whatever, that money gone. She would have, there's no telling, 6 months flat. Okay. Yeah, Wait says that they live there. I've driven by it several times. It was a money pit. Yeah, Montana says, what were they celebrating if he was not going for the house? I mean, I agree. I think she was making that up. And he might have been like just going along with it to keep the peace. Like, okay, you want to have a celebration drink? You know what I mean? Because she was probably, wait, did you see the Nate video today about how the courtroom scene will go tomorrow? Please, Amy, I didn't see it, but from what I've understood, the general public is not allowed in there, and it's basically media and family and people like that. Is that correct? Also, the Army Corps engineer stuff. Wow, she was so dim to not know that was terrible property. Girl, I will live in an apartment the rest of my life and know that that was a mistake. I know, right? Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you, Amy. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if the mother was, do we know if the mother was on anybody's witness list? Because she was one of the ones that I was like expecting to hear from, to be honest. Right. And then I'm like, I wonder if the defense had her called. But then even she was like, ugh. Yeah, Shona says, what, and this is literally, I think, what happened. She needed an excuse for them drinking that, then going to bed at 9, 100%. However that was going to be deemed, that's what she tried to make happen. Carmen, that's right. Yeah, I can't imagine. I create Montana. I can't imagine I'm putting the mom on. Hey, Sandy, how's it going? Yeah, because there's people, again, if they put the mother up there, it would have been a nightmare for obvious reasons. Because I mean, most people are still figuring, kind of like, does she help? You know what I'm saying? Well, she was in the courtroom the whole time, and she's all over that civil case. Oh yeah, that's right. Because the mom was in the courtroom the whole time. It makes you wonder. And again, when I say this trial, I cannot remember it, so drop it in there. It was the trial Jennifer something. She killed her adopted daughter or foster care. I forget. She had officially adopted her. She killed her in a terrible way. And I'm talking, y'all, the attorney for this woman was the most ruthless attorney I've ever seen in my life. It was one of the most horrendous trials in that way I have ever seen in my life. Okay. When it was time for her to not take the stand. When it was time for the defense, Jennifer Rosenbaum, thank you, Kristen. The only person that got up there was the mailman. The only person. Now, I actually had this girl, we can talk about this now that it's years later. Okay, so I had this girl reach out that was in the trial. And I don't remember her name or anything like that, but I also felt like she was probably really afraid of people like making fun of her or whatever. And she was probably reaching out to channels to try and like befriend them. Now, I wasn't going to make fun of someone like that because she didn't. I mean, I'm not going to make fun of a witness in that way. I would like to think not, you know what I mean? Unless they were like Corey's mom or something, you know what I mean? Somebody was kind of asking for it or something. But like just some random person, I'm not going to rip their appearance apart or something. And that's kind of what she was weird about. And not with me personally, but she was insecure about it. Anyways, that's not even part of the point. Okay. So she testified, but it was very quick. She said that before, like when this was popping off and like they knew that, she's going to trial, she said that Jennifer stopped in at her house and was basically all like, without saying it, was essentially trying to like, hey, do you need like, gift cards for this? I have these extra gift cards you can take. Like almost like trying to like, buy her off in a weird way. Okay. And she was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't need that. Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, but I got the vibe that she totally was like trying to manipulate me with money to say good things about her. And it was like, oh my God, well, the only person that could get up there was the post office man, and I'm like, this is the only person that can say something decent for you. That's it. Okay. Yikes. Not good. Hold on one second. And he barely said, she is always a nice young lady. Yeah. Mama says, imagine trying to buy off a witness with gift cards. It was legit like that. And I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. But here's the thing. So imagine that you're on the stand. So imagine you're Corey and they're like, okay, Corey, look, we can get the girl, so-and-so, Rachel from Starbucks, the one you go to or did when you were out. She said that she'll testify that you were always friendly at the drive-thru, always pleasant, didn't get a real complicated order. And that's pretty much the only person that we can get here to testify for you. Are you cool with that? I'd be like, heck no. I'd be like, just rest the case. You know how bad that's going to look? The only person that can get up there is a Starbucks worker and say that I was like an agreeable customer. That's really bad. You know what I mean? So if I was like Jennifer and they were talking about we can get the postman to come up here, I'd be like, honey, tell him to stay home and deliver mail. I appreciate it. Here's a gift card. But I'm good. Okay. Right. Sasha says, I always order before getting to the windows. Lies, Paul, lies. I couldn't even get the drive-thru person to say good things. They'd be like, he would just randomly show up at the window wanting to place an order. Wouldn't even go to the drive-thru. He would just be sitting there staring at it, not even doing anything, talking on the phone. I forgot. I think he was forgetting half the time he was even at the damn drive-thru. He might have thought it was a gas pump. He was looking around the side of the little order box for like the little gas thing. I don't know what he was doing. Can you imagine that? Your only defense, and you think you're going to eat it up with like the drive-thru person, and they get there, they didn't have a good thing to say about you. They didn't even have something nice to say. It's like, forget it. Just send an old Sparky. We're done here. This is a wrap. You're right. Ashley says, my bartender would say good things about me. Right? She was always great. Oh, wait for it says, good point. Wait for it says, Allie Staking's testimony came too close to the instructions in the Walk the Dog letter. She probably said what Corey told her to in the beginning. It was locked into it. Oh yeah. I got I got that vibe off of her. And so Annie Stakings, for those who don't remember, whatever, she is the supermodel girl who is like still seemingly friends with Courtney. Or I'm sorry, I keep calling her Courtney now because of Courtney Clenny. Because with Corey. And yeah, I think she seemed embarrassed. She seemed self-aware. I mean, I would have been too. Because honestly, when she first got up there, I was like, okay, how did Corey rip her off? And I was surprised when she had it. Maybe Corey was like, look, girl, if you get up there and say this, I've got some deals going. You can expect a couple of shipments of honey buns direct to your door. These are the real thing. These are pure honey bun. Okay, we're talking like this is like cocaña from Colombia. These are the source, okay? I'm talking 2 crates. 2 kilos of honey buns, your doorstep. Pure honey. Ashley says, pure honey, pure buns. And he's like, is it the kind with the cream on top? Absolutely. Whatever you want. Even the little jelly-filled one with the cream on top. She was like, oh, okay. There's more where that came from, baby. You just get up there and walk that dog. You walk that dog right off the witness stand. I know Wing says 475 calories each, literally, right? Your entire daily calorie allotment in this damn honey bun. Okay. Yeah, don't eat anything Corey feeds you. That was a good line from this trial, right? Manny says 100% genuine Texas Bighorn. Can you imagine them like doing the clandestine, business briefcase, like click, click, boom. Somebody cuts it open with a knife, like taste it a little bit, rubs on their gums. That's pure Texas Bighorn right there. What you want me to say? Oh, that's the real deal. I can feel it already. That's pure tea. Okay, I mean, my goodness. That's Swear. I will say that I'll give Corey this. Okay. Pardon me. I will give Corey this. I'm pretty shocked at how she's maintained her look while being behind bars for so long, right? Think about these people. Well, look at the one we just got off of Brandon Banfield, his au pair. When she got up there, I was like, you know, I mean, you're sitting there eating honey buns, doing whatever. You're not in the sunlight. You're not in this or that. We could work on Corey's little side thing, whatever. There's that. But overall, I'm just kind of like, what's she been doing? Like, does she work out every day? Like, what is she doing? It's wild. Oh, yeah, Sandy says, can you imagine if Corey and the mushroom lady invited you and serving you dinner? Oh, you would 100% be like, I'm definitely dying after this dinner, if not during. Erin would teach Corey. She'd be like, no, girl, you don't do this instant stuff. That's too obvious. You talk to the victim. You feed them the dinner. Erin has like a Silence of the Lamb kind of Anthony Hopkins type of vibe to her with her evil. Corey's is more like just, I just wanted his money. Just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Just remember one orange plate. Yeah, Annie Wilkes, Anthony, whatever his name is from Silence of the Lambs, that kind of energy. That's Erin. Although I will, again, with Corey, we'll give credit. She had the idea right. She was like, I'm going to go work that Home Depot line. I'm going to get in that contractor checkout line. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to find out which one. She's like, I'm going to see which one's driving that King Ranch dually up here. She's write that down. About 2:30, dude, King Ranch. She'll make little notes like Rolex watch. Next time he comes in, he pays with maybe a credit card. She gets that last name. Eric Richins. Okay, I'm gonna look him up. On her lunch break, please, honey. She came in dolled up the next day. Especially if Eric was like, well, I got to be back tomorrow to pick something up. Honey, she was volunteering for those shifts. She's just searching those names, looking for her contractor, man. I'm like, it's not a bad idea there, girl. Not a bad idea. Yeah, she was an absolute gold digger. And that's why I think with the family, with Eric's family, they probably sat here and saw, like I said, like when they started seeing, because Eric was telling his sisters, and like when the major money stuff popped off, we're like, she's stealing that money. I mean, please, right? They had to be like, Eric, what are you gonna do? What's happening? This is yikes. How did we arrive here? Kathy, I think Kathy and I were talking about this. Yeah, it was her and I. I would love to know the thoughts of his family pre-murder, right? Go back to when he first brought her home. What did the sisters think? Go back to the first time that his family met her mother. What did they think? I would pay good money to be a fly on the wall in that conversation right there, right? That would be a good one. Because they had some thoughts. They sniffed that out. Yeah, Ashley sums it up. Ashley says Corey is trash and they saw it. I really think that's how it was. I think they probably sniffed that out immediately. And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being like, you know what? I didn't come from the same means that y'all came from or whatever. But when it gets murdery and deceitful, that's where it's, okay, this is, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of people that, whatever, come from means like, a background like Corey's and marry up and, hey, that's great, But when they're horrible people and do it not for love, but for terrible reasons, and then that ends up playing out that way, that's where it's like, okay, now you're just an overall crappy human being, right? Yeah, Ashley says you can still be a good person if you're poor, obviously, yeah, right? It's like, that's the thing with Corey where it's like, I guess that's one thing that surprised us. We learned just how terrible she was. That was the thing that we knew she was terrible. We knew a lot of the evidence coming in. We knew all that kind of stuff. And it was like, Okay, but then all these details and layers came out, and you're just like, huh? She's ripped who off? All the things. And you're just like, holy McMoly. This is a horrible human being. Now, I know an argument for the defense is that doesn't make her a murderer, right? And okay, sure, and Donna says Eric was smitten by Corey long before he asked her out. He was an easy target. Oh yeah, I think he found her attractive. I'm sure she was done up, looking good, doing her little thing, working that cash register. She knew that last name. She did that. She did what she had to do. And he probably was like, and she probably was like, how do you say it? Because of like, the religious component and all that type of stuff, she might have been like, in a sense, like a bad girl, you know what I mean? And that might be exciting. Justice says, I guarantee she was talking herself up too. Yeah. Yeah, Ashley brings up a good point. I didn't know that either. Ashley says, I was surprised to learn Eric was married before Corey. I didn't know that before the trial. Yeah, I didn't either. Right. And that was probably like another thing where he's like, oh, God, when it starts looking like this is this is bad. This is, whatever. Wampo. Let me see if that'll translate to hold on. Did it work? Let's see. Yeah. Corey spent the whole trial staring at the witnesses like, she really did. She really did, didn't she? And that was another thing I think that was surprising was how afraid Corey looked, right? She just looked frightened the whole time. And I was just like, where did this confident, snarky person go? We saw that person come out from time to time where she'd be like, but overall, every time that camera panned over, she was like, absolutely crash landing in her, prison panties. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, she's nervous, as she should be. As she should be. So yeah, I've heard it. So who was saying this and who told me this? Was it Kathy or another channel? I can't remember. This is not my original thought. What I'm about to say is what I'm getting at. I felt like it was Kathy that said it though. Anyways, that maybe in the live chat the other night in this channel. Oh, thanks, Jeannie, for gifting 5 memberships. If you just got a free membership from Jeannie and you refresh, you'll be able to use the member emojis. But basically, like the people in the courtroom, especially when the defense was questioning Carmen, she was losing the jury, where they were like looking and doing this, and it was awkward, it was bad. And I think the jury was reading that room the same way that we were, right? So the things that we were like, that can't be good, I think the jury saw that. I think they saw Corey. I think they saw the looks on her faces. I think that they were annoyed with the defense and just like, what are we doing here? This is crazy. The defense is snarky little attitude. I'm from the South. I say y'all. Well, this is Utah, honey. Right? It's not time to be cute. It's not time to be seen. It's just time to whatever. Yeah, she totally seems like a bully, McMama says. 100%. 100%. And I think that was the central theme of this trial, from Corey to her defense team, bully. Right? All Legal Cat Chi-Town, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. If you received one from Legal Cat Chi-Town, just refresh and you can use those member emojis like Emily just posted. Shibba-da-doop-doop-doop-doop. Yeah, and how about Ramos, that dude who got there that first day trying to act like Matlock? Please. Yeah. K-Bush. Thank you, K-Bush, for the super chat and sticker. And K-Bush says only 2 people could have the drugs, Corey or Eric, you pick, right? Oh, great thoughts. I'm glad you're here. I was just talking about Kathy. Oh, thanks, Hairball. I appreciate you. Yeah, I love Kathy. We did a collab this morning that'll be in the main channel in a couple of days about this case. And then she's going to come on Wednesday night and talk to me about this case. It's kind of tricky to do the collabs this week because it's like we could have a verdict, we couldn't. And then you want to talk to everybody about it again, so it'll be fun. But yeah, Kathy's great. I love her. Oh, that's right. You're in Australia. I'm trying to get my day going. Oh, that's awesome. Well, good morning to you. Do you live anywhere near Aaron Patterson? Anytime I run into somebody who's from Australia, literally, and I know they're probably rolling their eyes like, oh my God. I'm like, do you know who I'm talking about when I say Aaron Patterson? The death cap mushroom murders. And everyone, every time, yeah, I've heard of that. Right? Right? It's like, pardon me. Yeah, once he calmed down, Mr. Ramos, I agree. If you put all three of those people up, so Nestor, Lewis, and Ramos, excluding his first day, I would go with Ramos as my pick because he calmed down after that, but because we knew what he was capable of, he was very annoying to me. So the next major trial we're going to be watching is Courtney Clenny at the end of April. Now, once this trial wraps, we will do a rewatch of please hold, Megan Sundwall. The case going on right now, the fatal friendship murder trial. We'll rewatch that one because Kathy and others have said it's absolutely insane and needs to be watched. So we'll do that one like on a speed up and just do a couple of like kind of like a daytime type thing and be like, hey y'all, we're gonna whatever we decide, like 11 to 2 or whatever. Wasn't Aaron rich for some reason? Hey Kat, are you talking about Eric Richins? So correct me if I'm wrong here, y'all. But Eric Richins, number one, he made a lot of money himself for his Stonewall company, but also his family were ranchers, I believe. And so I think his family, like he had family money, right? Hold on. Oh, Orange Rose, you've been a member for 10 months. Thank you. That's an honor. Defense came off as daft, just like their client. Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, now in between, we're 100% going to do refresh or palate cleansers, I call them. We'll do a Sarah Boone rewatch, maybe Anthony Todd on the Stand rewatch, like some of the like cringy go-tos, but definitely Sarah will lead that for sure. And we'll be doing some other one-off like live chats. We'll kind of switch over to that. But since that trial has gone on and everybody's like, oh my God, you have to watch it, and we can speed it up and do that, we'll figure out a way to do it. And trial watches is like better to do during the day for me because the evening time it's crazy to do a long live chat in the evening or whatever. So Iowa says Ramos needed less Adderall, Lester needed more shampoo, right? Oh yeah, Shayna Gardner. I can't wait for that one either. So let's do a little recap of what's taking place tomorrow, and then we'll sign off because the yawns have kicked in. Okay, so tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, we will begin streaming the trial. Then, keep in mind, well, number one, tomorrow's closing arguments, yada, 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 right? So we'll see how far we get with that. There is massive bad weather coming my way. So there's a high probability we could lose power overnight. We could lose power tomorrow. Hopefully not. If you're in the way of that, then be very careful of whatever's coming your way. And then just know, like, if we're watching trial tomorrow, we'll just play it by ear. So that is it. I hope y'all have a good rest of your Sunday evening. First things first, thank you, mods, for being here and keeping the sofa going. Emily, thank you for popping in and doing your thing. I know you're not feeling well, and I appreciate it. Ginger, thank you for being here, doing your thing. And thank you, Sofa Squad, for being here and doing your thing. So, like I said, tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m., we will see y'all then. Y'all have a wonderful evening. We will close out with I said it wrong, with Slow Morrison's Ode to the Sofa. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. I love y'all very much, and we will talk in the morning. Night.
The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.